Let's pay special attention to another macro structure near and dear to my heart, which is the dual-purpose lesson. A dual-purpose lesson means any lesson that is explicitly planned to tackle both an academic and a character aim. Let's look at an example that was filmed in Kim's class on February 13th. And as you're about to see, that date matters a lot.
Tomorrow is both February 14th and Valentine's Day, and so there's lots of things to be thinking about this week, including love. So on the one hand, William, we're going to be working on the academic task of writing, but on the other hand, we're going to take this opportunity this week to swim in some love. All right? And the way that we're going to do that is that this week we'll be writing letters that express our love, respect, admiration for someone that you already thought about in our right away. All right?
Tackling the character strength of love in a 7th grade class? Yeah. See, that takes its own character strength. That takes bravery. So they're working on their writing skills and demonstrating love. Dual objectives, explicitly dual purpose. But not all dual purpose lessons have such an explicit character aim. In some classes, the character tie-in is more subtle or even more of a shadow aim, where you plan activities that ask students to demonstrate the character strength or skill, even if the strength isn't explicitly named. Let me show you another example. Mike's students are reading a book in pairs and trying to define the word constable, using only context clues.
Constable.
What's a constable?
We said it was kind of like an assistant.
Yeah. An assistant. Okay. Okay. What made you say that?
Because it said he was fat and he was asleep, so we knew it was a person. Mm-hmm. And then we kept reading on to find more context clues, and it said he and the man in the yellow suit. So we were like, oh, so he must be
his assistant.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to keep reading and check the definition, because sometimes when you see a new word like that and it keeps getting used over and over again, you'll get more context as you go. Okay.
The man in the yellow suit side, but of course I had to find out where they were taking her. Carrying a shotgun, maybe a spy. Asking a lot of suspicious questions.
Well, I think that's like a guard or something now, because...
Yeah, maybe a guard.
Because why would you be carrying a shotgun?
He seems like he's trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Right? So the question is it possible that constable is a name for someone that maybe we're not used to seeing that name used for, but someone who may actually have a job even in our own, you know, we have people who do what this guy does in our city. We just have to keep looking for clues as to what he's doing to figure out who he is and what a constable actually is, okay? But if you keep reading and you keep seeing what he's doing, I think you'll start to figure it out.
Mike checks in, asks a few pointed questions, but mostly he leaves the students alone. They need to work independently with focus to figure this one out, and eventually they do. It's a really cool clip.
It's something new for these parts. Kidnapping. Never had a case like this before.
A case? He's a police.
I knew
he's a detective.
Oh, yeah.
He's
because he said he never had a case like this.
He's a detective. Oh.
Thinking he's a guard.
It
says never had a case like this that I know of. And I've been in charge going on 15 years. So now we know that he's a detective.
Oh, he's a cop?
No, he's a detective.
A detective? Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, we don't know yet.
A detective working with the yellow.
Okay.
Because he said never had a case like this.
Some more context. Okay, interesting.
Mike doesn't stop there. Here's the class at the end of the period.
How many of you guys noticed that you did have to read a lot sometimes to figure out a word? It wasn't usually enough to just read the sentence. Sometimes you had to read back a while, and sometimes you had to read ahead a while. Yeah, it's really common to do that, and it's very normal. I'm very impressed with the amount of grit you guys showed. That was a really tricky activity.
It's simply great that Mike brings it back to the character strength and explicitly ties grit to the character behavior. If we have time for a deeper discussion with kids, it's probably even more effective to get the students to name that behavior on their own. Regularly incorporating dual-purpose lessons into our instruction is a macro structure. We'll see dual-purpose lessons in action in our final 2 case studies. Mitch teaches 12th grade AP US History. Jessica and Patrick teach 5th grade. Jess and Patrick's first lesson comes from language arts, and their second comes from math. Please pick the case study that most closely aligns to your experience or interests, or ideally, watch them both.